All right, we're good. We are on. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's well on this Monday evening. I want to welcome Louise. Thanks for joining us on our little chat room. Lou, just as we start, for all our viewers and stuff, just tell us obviously who you are, where you're based, what you're up to. Go for it.
Yeah, so for those who don't know me, I'm Louise Condon. I'm a personal trainer. I own and run Jump and Juice, which is an online fitness club. I'm a Sweaty Betty ambassador. I run health and fitness retreats. So anything health, fitness related, I do it and I love it.
And a mum.
And a mum. Yeah, did I throw in personal trainer as well? Group fitness class, instructor. Yeah, mum, wife. Yeah,
all-round bundle of energy.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time. Us three used to work together back in the day. It was good times, fun times. So look, the whole idea with these chat rooms is for me and Joel just to reconnect with a lot of people that we've worked with and respect over the years, and just coming up with a title of, the whole lockdown situation and, your scope on it being, just a PT, but also an online coach as well, like how that sort of rolled out. So the title that we've got is Emerging from Lockdown. Are you a hunk, chunk, or drunk?
I must admit, it's the best title we've had so far.
It is the best title we've had. So obviously, me and you, Joel, are obviously hunks, so we don't need to worry about that one.
Yeah.
I'm like drunk.
You're drunk. What is that? Is that water? Is that Lou?
I think that's the best one.
What is in your Jump and Juice, by the way?
Oh, sparkling water. Living the dream.
Water. Love that. So come in, Lou. What have you experienced from the whole sort of, your experience of the lockdown situation?
So we came up with that title, which was, it is tongue-in-cheek, but the reason we came up with it is because everyone's responded differently in lockdown to the whole situation. Some people have really used their extra time to their advantage. They've looked at their exercise routine, they've looked at their food, they've spent time studying and learning and exercising and eating well and preparing dishes they haven't tried before. So some people are really flourishing during lockdown. So they're coming out the hunks. These are our hunks. Well, the people who are drinking their way through lockdown, which is quite relatable. I get it. As a mum, 2 kids, I get it. It's fine. But I think a lot of people now, especially because we've had the nice weather, it gets to 5 o'clock in the evening, they're having a G&T, they're having a glass of wine, and they're just drinking more regularly than they normally do. So these are our drunks. And then we've got our chunks. So these are the people who are eating their way through lockdown, who are maybe working from home and they've not been at home before. So you've got the temptation of the kitchen there, of the fridge there all the time. And also I think we can talk a bit more detail about this afterwards, but talking about our NEAT, so our non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So this is the exercise, the movement we do that's not directly exercise related, and how actually during lockdown that's reduced dramatically, because normally we would maybe walk to the shops, or if we work in an office, you'd walk around the office, you'd go and get yourself a coffee. You're walking a lot, which people are a lot more sedentary at the moment. So they're a lot more sedentary. They're at home, they've got the temptation of the fridge, of the kitchens, they're probably eating a little bit more. So they've probably not reduced their calorie intake, will probably increase their calorie intake, but reduce their NEAT, reduce their overall energy expenditure. And so they're putting on weight.
Yep.
Actually, that probably applies to, I'd probably say the majority of people are going to come out of lockdown maybe a little bit chunky than they went in.
Well, definitely, I think the whole point of, the reasons why we crave certain foods is, to do with a level of stress. And, the first time when we all got locked down, it was a very stressful time for a lot of people, us included, going from a one-to-one personal training business to then having to transfer everyone online, in a very short period of time. It becomes a stressful time. And the things that then you start craving is the alcohol, the crappy foods, the high sugars, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, totally. At the beginning of the lockdown, I think that was definitely more of the cravings that that people probably have had. And I think also that level of first thing is actually slowing down. Did you guys find that, it was actually took you a week or so to kind of like, oh, this is all right, I don't have to go to work, or, did you find that was the case? Or?
Well, having lived my life like a million miles an hour, you know what Mondays are like. It's like 14 hours in a gym.
Yeah.
Almost just like a welcome rest, to be honest, for me. It's almost like I needed it. It was like came at the right time for me. I don't know how you feel, Lou. I mean, you're on the go constantly.
Because I tend to start, so with Jump and Juice, we do live workouts. I'm often up before 6. I'm doing live workouts at 6:30, streaming them live. Then I'm on the school run. Then I'm working with personal training clients. Then I'm teaching classes. And then after school, the kids have got their activities. And the kids are older now, so their activities are finishing at 10 at night. So you're going out at 10. So life was busy. So this is actually giving everyone a chance to slow down a little bit. But what you may have found this as well. When we first went into lockdown, the days were quite long, weren't they? Because you're used to running around, you get the extra time. But actually, as you slow down, you just become accustomed to a slower pace of life. And actually, the days don't feel as long anymore.
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
It was the traveling as well. You know, it's a half an hour journey for me to work and half an hour back. You know, you're saving, or it's longer for you, Jolly, to go to St Albans. So, you know, that extra time, that extra couple of hours a day, like, crazy. You know, just giving you that little extra sleep in, that little half an hour, etc. I mean, what do you find, Jolly? Did you find that?
Again, I'm loving it. I'm loving not the travel. I love, like, literally, you know, I do my clients and then I'll have a workout, I'll go for a run. Then, you know, I'll have my breakfast and I have a big breakfast. You know, I just like, yeah, it's suited me absolutely fine.
Do you find you're training more now than you did pre-lockdown?
It's completely different training to what I'm doing. So I felt I was getting a bit too heavy. I mean, being in the gym that long, all I was doing is lifting weights. And now I live onto the back of wood. So I find I'm cycling, running a lot more outside. I've cut my calories right back. So the easiest way for me to do that was just to do 2 meals a day. So I'd have a massive breakfast and I'd have sort of like a brunch. Well, sort of about 3 o'clock, I'd have another big meal. And then that was me done for the day. And I found I've lost.
Did you do that consciously, knowing that your activity was a bit less? You cut your calories down on purpose?
I wanted to lose weight. So I was 94 and I'm down to 85 now. So I've lost nearly 9 kilos. So
Wow.
I've lost a lot of muscle at the same time, but I wanted to be fit. If I'm going running, you know, it's quite hard to run at 95 kilos. So,
I mean, that's the one thing that you definitely, I've definitely seen. Obviously, we were talking just before we came on live about customers that already, all they knew to go to the gym, and what else did they do? So, you know, obviously the first thing that they came to was either I've got to go out on my bike or I've got to go out running. And, you know, they're probably the biggest, you know, most muscle groups that you're going to be using in one activity. And if you haven't done it before and you're tight and things aren't as strong as they should be, now coming out the back end of this, people will be coming out with in my opinion, a lot more injuries from doing too much cardio. I mean, Jolie, you've always been a fit guy, cycling, running, you know, being at the back of Wendover Woods, it was your sort of kiddies playground, or adults playground, sorry. But, you know, I don't know, did you find that, Lou? I mean, a lot of your customers do your online stuff anyway, so they're used to that higher intensity sort of workout.
Yeah, I try and get my clients, both personal training clients, Jump and Juice clients, to mix up their training. So I'm a big believer in keeping the body guessing the whole time. So actually, they were already doing some strength training. I encourage the endurance. I like them. We do flex and flow, which is my it's something that I devised. It's a mixture of yoga, flexibility, body weight strength work. And it's just about moving the body in different ways. So we do online weighted workouts, we do online HIIT workouts, we do more endurance things. So it is just about getting the body doing different activities. So yeah, my clients, if they've done well, they've carried on doing a mix of everything.
You do that once a week? Is that something that you just roll out once a week, or is it?
No, so Jump and Juice, we do 3 live workouts every week together. And then I do another, I've been doing, I think it's an extra 3 or 4 free live ones as well, just to give people a taster of what Jump and Juice is, and also just get people moving during this lockdown.
Yeah. So Luke, I mean, you was almost like ahead of the game, because you was already online before all this happened. Is this like, I mean, has it worked in your favour? Has your clientele gone up?
No, it has. It's been brilliant for Jump and Juice. It's grown. But what I think it's been particularly good for is people have seen the advantage of working out from home.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I'm a big believer as well in going to gyms, but I work with a lot of busy mums who they might be busy mums because they work, or they're busy mums just because they're at home with the kids who keep them busy. But people don't always have the luxury to drive 20 minutes to a gym, to do an hour's workout, to drive 20 minutes back again. It takes them a morning to do their workout. And actually they've realized if they could throw in some home workouts and some good home workouts, and there are some good ones out there. I know that Chris, you've been doing some live ones. When I teach online as well, I'm very particular about form and technique and go through a lot of cue points. So if you're doing a good online workout, you can get a really good workout at home. I think
it's tough. I mean, coming from, obviously I've come from a teaching background, but Jesus, the way that you're teaching, you're kind of teaching blind. You used to visually seeing someone change. You're not doing that. You're having to, pick up on comments or whatever everyone's saying and give alternatives and make sure the music's at a certain level and people can hear you and see you and it's a full-time production, and it's just a one woman or one man band. It's tough, but I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing it. It's definitely given me another string to my bow, and it's something that I will 100% keep going with. That was a question I wanted to ask you, Lou. Like, sort of, you did all the boot camps before you kind of went online. Would you say that was kind of the way to move that online business forward? Or I know we're kind of coming off the subject of what we were talking about, but from my own personal view, how did you increase that level of clientele online?
Increasing clientele. A lot of it's been word of mouth, which has been great. And I've had an online presence for a while, which has really helped. Doing the boot camps, I suppose it did initially. It gets that initial influx of people in, and then people have liked it and enjoyed it, and then they've sort of naturally spread the word, which has been.
So I think the one thing that I've definitely learned, it's only now 12, 13 weeks in, there's that consistency. As long as you're consistent and you're doing the same time at the same place, people know what times your classes are on and know what you're sort of like prepared to put out there. And I think that is probably the only thing that that's the major thing that I've seen, is that if you're consistent at them times, it allows more people to
just have it, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely.
People like to know if you're going to be there Monday at 12.
Yeah.
They'll be there Monday at 12. If you're chopping and changing and some weeks you're there and some weeks you're not, it's too much. So definitely consistency. Let me ask you guys a question, actually, to my online training. So during lockdown, there's a lot of celebrities who have come out as sort of online trainers and follow my workout. And how do you guys feel about that?
How do I feel about that?
Or just in general?
Good luck to them.
I said, are we talking about anybody in particular or just in general?
I'll tell you who I saw the other day. Mark Wright from Towie came out. Now, I don't know if he's qualified. I don't know. But like you were saying...
Funny enough, my brother was talking about this. I mean, he's in good nick, isn't he? He's in very good shape. What I've got against it is, like, someone says, oh, look at Mark Wright and look what he's doing. There's no way he got a physique like that just by doing some bands and some press-ups. He's been in a proper gym, like, with weights, and...
He's been coached.
Oh, yeah, totally. He's been coached. But, all these celebrity trainers, for all intents and purposes, when we train a circuit class, I don't usually do circuit class. I train with weights and I do reps and sets. But I like circuit classes. They when you haven't got a gym available, it's good. Someone's going to follow him. It's all about movement and keeping fit. Good luck to him.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think that this time, the biggest thing that's definitely helped people survive this coronavirus is that health is the major benefit of keeping you healthy in relation to the virus. So if you can increase your cardiovascular system, if people are motivated to follow celebrities online to get them going, like, happy days, it's all good. But as I said, like, we're coming from a different point of view. We're all a professional trainer, so I find it difficult to simplify what you're trying to get across to people online through a live feed. It's like you teaching to 20, 30 people that we used to do at Fitness First, Jolie. You kind of, generally, if you can see them, you can teach to the majority. But when you're live, you don't see anyone.
No,
they could be sitting back like that and just going, oh, that's good. Yeah, that's nice. You don't know. But
I'll sit back and watch the rest of it. Luke,
yeah.
You asked the question. What do you think about the online celebrities?
Like Chris said, anything that gets people moving, I think.
Yeah.
My issue is, again, a point Chris made earlier, is about form and technique and people getting injured. And actually, if you don't have any experience in coaching people and giving form and technique and cues, then people can get injured. If you're at home and you're throwing weights around and not sure what you're doing, then there is the risk of getting injured. So that's my issue, is the safety aspect of it.
So do you do a stretch class before your session?
Do I stretch before a session?
So do you actually in your session do a live stretch?
I do a live warm-up.
Yeah, because it's very difficult, you know, in a session that you would do one-to-one, you take a client through that mobility, you understand, assess how they're feeling, what type of their autonomic nervous system is like, what type of training they should be doing, you know. But, you know, I teach a HIIT class on a Friday, like that's what you got to do, you know, regardless if you've been out on the piss all night or, you know, that you're injured, you know, you just got to follow it. So it's very difficult to kind of, and the feedback that
You've got to think it's a completely different product, really. You've got personal training, which you're taking on that person, their individual wants, needs, injuries, blah, blah, blah. Or you're taking it as a generic class, which, you know, people are happy to take on a generic class and work within their strengths, their weaknesses. That's what you've got to try to explain. And I think cues in terms of, it's a skill. It's definitely a skill of cueing people, making sure they're not going to be injured.
Yeah.
And being blind to it, I mean, it's a really, really, you know, hard skill to get your point across.
But what you do very well, Louise, your energy is about it. You know, you're constantly on fire. Like you are constantly bursting out with that level of energy. And me coaching like online, Jesus, I feel it. You know, the first week that I did my lockdown lives, I was suffering, absolutely suffering. And there was one point through my sessions, we do like 4 classes, and I repeat them classes for 4 weeks. So then weeks become harder. So for me, it's a way that I would generally teach people on a PT level as well, because they understand the routine, they're getting harder. Last week, it was like the 4th week of a HIIT session. I was at a point where I was nearly, I'm going to have to, like, thanks very much, see you later, sort of thing. It was a moment of, because you can't give up. You have to keep moving. You have to keep going with it to keep people motivated. But so you do that very well. You definitely do that well of giving across that level of energy. You always have. So people like that enthusiasm, especially if they've, you know, not having a particularly good day and they come on and see you on, you know, a big smile, you're ready to go. Like, yeah, I'm ready for this now. That's
lockdown. I just want to bring some energy and positivity, especially at the start of lockdown. It's still uncertain times, but it was really uncertain, wasn't it? It was completely unprecedented. And actually, if I could sort of, every day I did at least one live, and if I could arrive in somebody's living room and just with a smile and a bit of energy and get them moving, and then they feel good for moving, then yeah, I was sort of job done.
Yeah, I mean, the question I wanted to ask, or the sort of scope I was going with, was about people's habits. You know, so I think what you have done, and hopefully what, you know, we're all trying to do, is change people's habits. So at the beginning it was like, oh, I'm not going to bother, you know, I'll see you when lockdown's finished. Week 3, week 4, week 5. Yeah, maybe we should have a little look at you know, an online session, or, you know, do one of your classes, etc. And it's kind of changing people's beliefs that they don't have to go to, exactly what Joe was saying, they don't have to go to a gym. You know, they can do things online. So definitely habit changes is one thing that I think is hopefully, you know, we're going back to that hunk, chunk, drunk. You know, have they just stuck to the same old habits, or have they made new habits? And over this period of 3 months, that whatever it's going to be, hopefully if they've sort of tapped into, they're going to one of your classes, they're doing PTing online, whatever, hopefully it's started to become a normal, regular routine. Do you feel that's...
I think as a human race, I think we always make excuses, and I think this has made people overcome those excuses. Like, you know, I can't work out, so I can't get to the gym at such a point, you know, and suddenly you have to now, I ain't got a gym to go to, I'm going to have to work out at home, I ain't got any weights. Well, you've got body weight exercise. Oh, okay. I can't run. Well, you know, I can start with a walk around the block. At the moment, you've got so much time. You can't have this excuse. I can't make it. You've got all the time in the world. I can't change my diet. You can now.
Yeah. Does it make you think, Lou, about living somewhere else?
What? Because you can do online anywhere.
online anywhere. You know, you take places, I'm not saying you move to Australia, but places that are hotter. You know, I'm doing virtual calls in Barbados, in Portugal, you know, and their whole outdoor lifestyle is completely different to ours. You'd probably see a lot of people doing the Peloton online cycling indoors. You know, it's indoor stuff. I know we can go outside and we have got some beautiful weather coming up, but does it make you think about moving to somewhere like the coast? Because I know you love going down at the coast.
One of the reasons I first of all set up Jump and Juice, however many years ago it was that it would give me flexibility in the future. Jack and Ella are at school at the moment. We wouldn't move at the moment, but yeah, it definitely gives me flexibility going forward, that I can have a business that I can run from behind a laptop anywhere in the world. Absolutely.
What about you, Jolie?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it'd be nice just to be able to work from anywhere in the world. Biggest thing for me is spending more time with kids and less travel. So that's all I kind of want from it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big advantage for me, being able to be at home, spending time with the boy and Kate, and just, you know, having that family time. I think that's important, you know. That
saying that when before we came on, I think a lot of people's priorities have changed during lockdown, and people are focusing on family now, on their health, on their fitness. It's been awful times for so many people. So many people have lost loved ones during the virus. People have lost their jobs. But actually, if you've lucky and you've got your health and you don't have any financial worries, then actually you've been able to enjoy maybe this time a little bit and enjoy the time with your family, and indulge in a bit more exercise. I've definitely been working out more for me over the past few months, where before it's all about my clients, it's all about doing online. I've actually had some time to do some things for me as well, which I've really enjoyed.
What is the future for you, Lou?
The future, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do. I love my one-to-one sessions, because as you say, you tap into that one person. You walk in, you know if they've had a bad weekend. When they tell you they've eaten their greens and protein, you know if they have or haven't. You know if they can squat more. I love that one-to-one. I love a big group class. I love the energy you get. You get 30 people in a class and the music's loud, and I love that. I've got the online business. We've got this amazing online hub of fitness, of wellness. I've got so many people moving more and eating well. And I love that I can online reach so many more people. I do my health and fitness retreats. I do these luxury retreats, which are amazing, which I design them to like the one I'd like to go on. So I think, well, this is the weekend I'd like to do. And I love doing those. So for now, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, actually.
So if you had just going back to the question and the title that we had, if you had someone that was, you know, a bit of a chunk through this time, you know, they are drinking probably more than what they have done. And I will say the same, that I probably have drunk more through this lockdown than I ever have, but I say I ever have, but you understand what I mean. That what advice would you give someone that is a bit more on the chunky side coming out of this? You know, what are you encouraging them to do? What would you say to them?
First thing we'd look at maybe is their NEAT, that non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Just get them moving. So make sure they're hitting 10,000 steps a day. Make sure when possible they're walking to the shops instead of driving. They're taking the stairs. So get people moving. Obviously look at their diet. Where are they with their diet right now? Is their protein intake high enough? Are their calories too high? Are there obvious ways we can do some swaps with their calories? Drinking, let's try and have more alcohol-free days than alcohol days, right? Let's not cut out drinking altogether. For some, it's not realistic to cut it out. So let's maybe stick to just drinking Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe we'll look at, you should have a G&T instead of a glass of wine. You've got less calories, less units of alcohol. Get them lifting some weights if they've not lifted, especially, I find you might find this as well with your female clients. I get a lot of females come to me and go, I like the idea of lifting weights, but I don't want to get bulky. That's people think I don't want to get bulky. And actually, as a woman, it's really hard to get bulky. Like, even if you wanted to, it's really hard to get bulky. So I teach them how to lift properly. But like I said at the beginning, we'd look at, make sure they're lifting, make sure they're hitting their 10,000 steps, that they're doing some bit of HIIT workout, maybe just mixing it up. Maybe look at, is intermittent fasting a good idea for them? Maybe introducing that once or twice a week.
So in relation to a new, so if I was a client that was a bit chunky through the lockdown, and I contacted you, what do you give? Do you give out a lifestyle questionnaire? Do you give them out quite an intensive questionnaire to kind of get to know them? Do you give them a call? What is the sort of process?
So before, I would have done a face-to-face consultation with them. It would have been, it's totally free, the face-to-face one. We just talk about where they are, where they have been in the past, and where they want to be. And we'll look at they always bring a food diary with them from the past 3 days, which they'll always come to me and go, this is my food diary from the last 3 days, but it's not my usual one because I knew I was coming to you. So but we'll look at it and they'll go, well, so I had my special K for breakfast because I was being healthy. And then I bought a low fat sandwich from Boots for lunch. And then you go, right, okay, we need to strip this right back. Where's the protein going on? Where are the good fats? So yeah.
That's cool.
Yes, we would do a face-to-face consultation, but recently I've been doing them over the phone. So just finding out their history, where they currently are, where they want to be, and what do we need to do to make that happen.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'll be giving you a call, Lou.
Then you give the bullet points. Then you just go, look, just eat less, move more, don't eat processed foods, and eat more protein. Done. Next.
I heard once, they said if you took your overweight dog to the vet, they'd look at your dog and they'd go, walk it a bit more.
Yeah.
Or 3.
But they probably look at you first.
Everyone looks at my dog and they go, your dog looks like you, Lou. He's sort of blonde, bit sporting, he's got a big long nose. So yeah.
And it runs around like constantly. I also see that you get kids involved, Lou. I really like that. I like the family sort of side of it. I like, we've had a couple of chats with some good chats with girls and boys that get involved with kids and exercise. Where are you with that? Do you encourage your kids to do more exercise? Do you what's the sort of scope on?
Yeah, I think it's really important actually for us. I mean, you're both dads, so I'm sure you're the same. Although I know Chris, yours is younger, but we're role models to our children. And even if they don't realise it, they're taking in what we do. And yeah, I think it's really important that kids are active, and especially in lockdown, because so mine are at secondary school. They'd normally walk to school, which is probably about a mile. They've got PE at school. They're both quite sporty. They do football clubs and netball clubs. They walk home. They do evening clubs. Then suddenly they're at home and they're not walking anywhere. So I have made them do exercise at home, and we're lucky we've got some kit here. So I have been making them do it because it's very hard for a child. I don't like to talk about diet really too much with the kids. I like to feed them a healthy diet, but you don't really want to be reducing their food, but you've got to make sure that their activity levels still stay high. So yeah, you may have seen I've done a couple of workouts. Ella, my daughter's got involved in a couple. Jack did one and then called it a day.
What's your sort of scope on like kids on social media? That's sort of a battle that I'm playing with at the moment. I know Leo's not even 2 yet, but that element of having your kids constantly on social media, is that something that you're concerned about? Do you talk about, like, is that?
Yeah, I have a couple of different views in terms of social media itself. I think it's unrealistic to think they won't be on it when they get to a certain age. And I think some parents who don't let them have it are being slightly naive, because if you don't know they have it, they will still have it. If you know they have it, you can monitor it. So I do let mine have social media. They have to understand I have full access to it whenever I want it. So I have to follow them, and whenever I want to get into their accounts, I can. In terms of time, I'm not strict and say you can only have an hour, but I am conscious of how long they're on their phones. They have to exercise every day, do some sort of form of exercise every day. They're doing their schoolwork every day. So it doesn't leave an awful lot of time for the social media.
Yeah, no, I just mean in relation to you using kids for social media. I understand that sort of side, but what about you, Jolie? Using the boys, I mean, your kids, Jesus
My
Christ.
kids are like sponges, so they see me doing online classes. Henry took my phone and suddenly look at it, and he's doing an online class. He's recorded it himself, doing sit-ups and press-ups. It was quite cute, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm if they want to do it, I mean, I'm not going to make my kids do it by any chance, but if they say, Dad, can we do a class? I'm like, yeah, sure.
It's their age, isn't it? social media and online is their age. I mean, it wasn't my era, your guys' era, you know, doing social media. I've had to learn it, as I guess both of you've had to learn it. But you know, now, you know, look at education, all the sports stuff, and everything's online. So it's going to be part of their life anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys don't have daughters, you don't have quite the same worry, but the Photoshop and all the extreme fitness and diets and things on social media, that is worrying. But I think as long as you, again, have spoken to your children about it and you've brought them up in a healthy environment, then you need to sort of learn to trust them to
totally
understand that these images aren't real and that's not the look you should be going for.
Yeah, because that's one concern, isn't it? People see them social media photos and go, "Oh my God, that's not even kids." You know, we're talking about our own clients, I guess. They go, "This is what I want to look at," and you're kind of like, "Well, they probably only done that, you know, over one day to get that one shot." You know what I mean? They've gone through a calorie deficit. They're dehydrated. You know, they can't concentrate. You know, and that's just for one shot. That's not how they are for the rest of the time. And I think that's just kind of. But then you look at them photos and it gets people to follow you, and you know, it's this, you know, sex sells at the end of the day. And when you're looking good and healthy, and you know, people think, "Oh, I want to do that. I want to do what they've just done." But so, Lou, what about what are you reading at the moment? What are you following?
What am I reading? What am I following? I'm into my podcast at the moment. Especially sort of during lockdown, I've loved taking the dog out for a walk. I take him out for an hour every day, and I put on a good podcast. They're normally health and fitness related. I like following. Do you guys know James Smith? Controversial.
And you asked me about him the other day, but yeah.
Yeah, have you just read his book? I've just read his book.
Yeah, it's good, but it's a lot of content that's just repeated from his podcast.
Yeah.
But no, I like him. I like his ethos. Who else? Ben Coomer. Do you guys know Ben Coomer Radio?
Nope.
Nope. Chloe Madeley is one who surprised me. Do you know Chloe Madeley? She's Richard and Judy's daughter.
All right.
So she's a personal trainer. She's with James Haskell, the rugby player.
Right.
But she has a very good podcast as well. So yeah, that's what I'm sort of into at the moment, is my podcast.
So
The book I'm reading is How to Bring Up Teenage Daughters.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that the same one as like How to Understand the Female Mind? Is it by the same person?
Who's it written by?
Don't know.
A bloke.
A bloke, that's what I mean, yeah. So Lou, where can people find you? Where can people move to move into your sort of way of thinking? Like, where can people get in contact with you?
So Facebook is my main form of social media. So come find me, Louise Condon or Jump and Juice. So like I said, I offer some free classes for everyone to join in. My next one is Wednesday at 11. So everyone feel free to join that. Wednesday 11 o'clock is a bodyweight HIIT workout. It's about half an hour. Look at jumpandjuice.co.uk, and that's just £10 a month. And it's an online health and fitness hub. We have live workouts, on demand workouts. We talk a lot about diet, lifestyle hacks. Yeah, it's a bargain. So come and check out Jump and Juice.
Oh, you got any more? You got anything you want to say? Any more questions for her?
Well, Lou? Oh no, covered everything.
Okay.
Okay, so you the hunk, the chunk, or the drunk?
Who, me at the moment? I've gone through all elements, Lou. I've gone from hunk, chunk, hunk, drunk.
Hunk, you're working out hard and diet's on point, so we're going for hunk.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you say so, Lou, I'll take it.
Like, Louise, thanks for your time. Like, it's been great seeing you again and catching up, and you know, we need to do this again. So appreciate it. Be good, stay well. We'll see you soon.
Hello, Lou.
Yeah, bye.